Oh no, the music stopped. Here we go. What is up, guys? Give me 1 second. Is that good? I know the music's loud. Hold on. But it's kind of a banger. Okay, good levels, good levels. Too loud? What is up? It's been a minute. It has been a while. I have not been very consistent with the live streams, guys. I'm sorry about that. That is totally on me. I don't know how people do this every day. Like people whose jobs it is to stream every single day. I'm like, dude, there is not enough content in the world to fill 40, 50, 60 hours a week with just live streaming unless you're just playing games. But a lot of those streamers don't play games. I'm just like, I don't know how they do it. Let's see. We got Stang. What's up, Stang? Good to see you, man. And Nathan. Nathan, it's been a long time since you've been here at the stream start. What's up, man? I've gotten so used to you coming in and like unnecessarily apologizing for being late. So yeah, awesome. Good to see you guys. How is everyone doing? Is the levels okay? I swear I have to readjust them every single time. Let's see. But yeah, what's been up? I have not been here for a couple weeks. Last week I had a good excuse. I was on vacation. We went to a cabin in the middle of the woods, and while I did have Wi-Fi when I was there, it was not really good Wi-Fi. It wouldn't have been a very good stream. It would have just been from my phone and not very interesting and probably get cut out eventually. So I decided to just skip that week anyway. But the week before, yeah, that was on me. Just don't have the content. What's up, Drew? Sounds decent. That's awesome. Nathan says, I was prepared this time. I will only be here for just under 2 hours. I have a medical appointment later today. Yeah, dude, no problem. Thanks for being prepared. And any amount of people, being in the streams or watching the videos is awesome. Like, never apologize for like not showing up or being late or whatever. Like, any amount of involvement in your life is amazing to me. So no problem. Sorry, work. It's a work night. Also payday. Woo. Nice, Hayden. Are you buying any new hardware soon with that money? Oh, I got a little, I guess, toy. 8-Bit Do sent me this, and if y'all are familiar, this is a alternative to the kind of traditional arcade pads that you'd see for years and years. Like people who play Street Fighter, they'll use the arcade buttons, but then they'll have a joystick usually. This is an alternative that's been creeping up lately. I don't know what they call it. They just call it an arcade controller here, but I think people call this leverless. Um, I would love to give it a shot, but honestly, this scares the heck out of me right here because I can use an arcade stick no problem when it's a joystick, and I think having the same kind of hand control on both sides is going to be really interesting. So I'm going to try this out on Smash Brothers and probably Street Fighter and try to get used to it because it seems really interesting and really fun. John goes, wait, I can just leave anytime I want? You'd be, well, look, you obviously can. I'm just saying you don't have to apologize when you do, which Nathan will do because he's a sweetheart. But it's just totally unnecessary. But one thing I noticed, look how thin this is. Like, look, this is not sponsored, so don't 8-Bit Do. I don't care what you buy, but I'm just saying. Usually arcade sticks are like really thick because they want you to play on your lap, and so they want a little bit of weight to them, so it doesn't move around. The new ones are very thin. I guess if you don't need a joystick, because the joystick is physical, and it takes up a lever that's like this big inside the box. So I think that matters too. When you don't have that, you just have keys. It's like a keyboard. You can make it as thin or thick as you want. Isn't that interesting? And it's got like this grippy on the bottom. I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting to try to learn this. But I'm excited because I honestly I like the look of it. I think it's fun. I think this would be really cool. You show up to a tournament with this, you are a cool guy. I can't tell if the thin profile is a good thing or bad thing. Honestly, it being thin is not the end of the world. If you're playing this on a desk, it's fine. It's for people who are in front of a TV and they're playing with it on their lap. That might, I don't know, like you might just, if it's like moving around too much, might have some issue. But it makes it easier to take to tournaments, which is cool. So if you're the type of person who goes to locals or something, this will fit in your backpack. Old arcade sticks could not fit in your backpack really, because the thing itself was this thick, and then the joystick would jut out this far. So pretty cool. I'm excited to give it a shot, because the alternative is using this, which is a GameCube controller and the adapter, and it's like a big wad of nonsense. The build quality looks nice. It is pretty nice, actually. Yeah, it feels like a premium product. I don't know how much they sell it for. I think it's like $100, which sounds like a lot, but arcade sticks can go up to $300 or $400. So $100 is kind of in the middle. I wouldn't say it's budget, but we've certainly seen far more expensive arcade sticks. Can't answer that question about buying new hardware. There's a chance my girlfriend's in the stream. That's true. Maybe you don't lie to her, bro. What is this, an arcade controller for a person with 10 fingers on one hand? So the idea is that you use one hand over here. Okay. So these 8 are going to, and possibly these 2 these are auxiliary. These are for your right hand. These 4, and possibly these 2 auxiliary for your left hand. So this is gonna this side replaces the joystick, and this side replaces the buttons. So you play it like a keyboard, like this. I can't do it on stream, obviously, because but that's how you play it. And the idea is that I think originally this was supposed to be a more ergonomic controller compared to this. This kind of hurts. You get issues with your wrist, you get issues with your palms and your fingers. A lot of people have gotten some serious hand strain. This is for professionals. For normal people, I don't think it matters. But, people who deal with carpal tunnel and other stuff, it could be a thing. But they think like playing like this is a more ergonomic situation. But also the GameCube controller is analog. And so you can tell that it's got springs and different levels of pushing buttons to see how far you have to travel to do it, right? Because this is an old controller. Big springy buttons, and while it feels good to play, it can be very slow to actuate. And so if you replace those with digital switches, you get much faster input response. And so the idea is taking the downfalls of the controller, and as long as you make it past those pitfalls and you learn how to use it properly, the idea is that this is technically the better controller from a technical standpoint, right? Like, I think maybe the best player playing at the optimum peak with this would have better performance than if they played on something like that. Which isn't to say this would automatically beat people, but there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. A lot, like, honestly, if these controllers should even be allowed, a lot of people see them as cheating because they're like I said, there's no actuation force compared to the one on the GameCube. So a lot of different people are saying, like, maybe we don't even allow these. And then some of the tournament organizers are saying, we allow them, but we have certain stipulations, like they can't do this, this, and this. And it's a new thing, but it's interesting. This, in a few years, this could be seen as like a relic because they got banned from all the tournaments and everyone stops using it. And it was like, yeah, it was a gimmick from 2025 or whatever. You know what I mean? Or it could be the next big thing. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think there could be a future where everyone starts playing on these. I don't know. It seems cool. Even if it's a gimmick, I think it's pretty cool. And I look forward to giving it a shot. Oh, Rose is here. Yeah, don't lie to me. What you buying? Work's too busy, can't answer. Thank you for the comment, bro. You're truly awesome, and we all appreciate you. Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Is it a good idea if I get an RX 7600 XT? Brand new? I would say no. I don't think it's worth it to buy it brand new unless it's like on a hella good deal, and I mean like really good. Generally speaking, how much do RX 7600 XTs go for? I would think if you can get a B580 from Intel, those are 250 on MSRP. More realistically, more like 270, 280, depending on where you find it. Or you can get the better version of that, which is the 9600 XT, which is going to have some newer features, newer FSR, that kind of stuff. And so unless that is like $200 cheaper than the 9600 XT, I don't think it's worth it. It just depends what your budget is, yeah. So I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. I just don't have enough information to give you the full info, yeah. I ordered a 9600 XT 16 gig on Prime Day a few days ago. I didn't get a discount on it. It was just in stock to try out in a video. So that'll be pretty fun. The fact that you can actually get a brand new card, and it's not a budget card. It's $350, but I think what you get, $350 is pretty good for the price. But that'll be fun. It'll be fun to play with. I've been very eager to find a B580, but they're always sold out to this day. It's been like 9 months, and it's still hard to get a B580, and I don't know. I don't know why. It sucks. I would love to try it. It's like, and I could get them. Like I see them all the time, but they cost $100 more, and I refuse to be price gouged. This sucks. You'll get that bag, Hayden. Okay, but if I use my keyboard arrow keys and compare that to an analog stick, the analog stick is way more precise. Interesting. That's a good point, because this is basically a keyboard, right? So if you're using your keyboard arrow keys and compare that to an analog stick, the analog stick is way more precise. Yeah, I'm not an expert at this. I am truly speaking out of someone with very little information. I'm just saying what I've heard, right, from different videos and stuff. But that's a good point. What's different between using your little, like your keyboard and then using this, right? Like obviously mine is physical switches, but you don't have to. There are digital keyboards that exist, and I wonder what would be the downside of just playing with this, because that's essentially just a bigger version of this, right? So yeah, that's a very good question. The analog stick is way more precise. In my mind, the analog sticks have eight different directions, right? In a normal analog stick on a arcade stick. 4, compass points and then the corners. And that's kind of what they're doing here as well. But instead it's 2 buttons to do it. So instead of going to the down right, you have to press down and right. And so I feel like the idea is that it's faster to push these 2 buttons and more precise than to have to find the corner of a joystick. Because this will always be down right, no matter what you do. If you press these 2 buttons, and it's really hard to not hit them, you're not going to miss them, right? But on an arcade stick, there is a chance that you're actually not bottom right, especially in the middle of like a very complicated input. But again, this is all just my thought. I have not tried it. I'd have to look more into it. But I think it's all hearsay. I don't think we've seen any top level pros switch to this yet. Maybe other than Hacks Money, Rip Hacks, but I don't know outside of that, to be honest. It'd be cool. this is made by 8-bit do, but I think Razer makes one too, and Razer sponsors a bunch of fighting game people. So I wonder if they would start using it. I like how thin it is and portable. Like it's not a big deal to go to a friend's house or go to a local or a tournament and bring your arcade stick, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. So it's pretty cool. I guess it just depends on what you use it for. But I don't think it feels as good as using an actual physical joystick. That feels really good. Like going to an arcade and like the just having the joystick is, I don't know. It just, maybe I have too much nostalgia from a from a perspective. It's going to be interesting to see people who young people who start on this, right? Like they have nothing to lean back on. They've never played with an arcade stick. They've probably never picked up a controller, and like they start this. That's going to be interesting. Uh, yeah, so it's going to be a long time until we start seeing that. Obviously, people have to start growing up and starting to get into games, but it could be a thing. It was the same thing with controllers, man. For a long time, gaming was done on computer and arcades. So you only had keyboard and mouse, and then you had arcade joysticks. So they had to figure out how to make the best controller, right? And all of all this time passing where we have joysticks now, and it's essentially just a big or a smaller version of an arcade joystick, right? But with more ergonomics but it took us 50 years to get to this point or more. You know what I mean? So it's going to take a long time, but it could be cool is what I'm saying. I think it could be cool. And I like the idea of new innovations to kind of disrupt something that we've gotten so used to. Like we've always said, like whenever I was playing more fighting games, so back in like 2009, 2010, back when Street Fighter 4 was very popular, if you played on a controller, like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, you were considered a noob. Like it literally, like people said, no, 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 you got to play it on an arcade joystick, like a traditional arcade. That's where this game came from, and the inputs are more precise. And you're gonna like no pro players use a controller. They only use a joystick. That's how it is. Like if you wanted to take Street Fighter seriously, you had to play on an arcade joystick. And a lot of people still do use arcade joystick because they prefer it. But there have been many, many, many new players, especially tournament winners. Specifically, I remember Knuckle Dew, who was very young at the time. I think he was like 20 years old, and he won the Capcom Cup using a controller. And he was dominant for like 2 or 3 years, and he played entirely on controller. And there was a ton of people who came up after him who played Street Fighter on a controller, and they had no problem. And so now I think it's more 50-50, but it's not as black and white as it was 15 years ago. So it's pretty interesting how things can change, and using preconceived notions. And I don't know. I think tradition wise, it's more fun to play fighting games on an arcade joystick. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best or most precise. But in terms of fun, I think it's really fun. And I think it's really fun to go to arcades and play fighting games. Last time I went to Japan, I the problem is that in Japan at the arcades, they're not playing Street Fighter anymore. They're playing, basically most people will jump to whatever the newest fighting game is at that arcade, and it'll usually be like a Gundam fighter or an anime fighter or something that's not going to hit mainstream outside of Japan. And so I just get stomped every time because I don't know the game. And I'll look for a game I'm familiar with, and it'll be like empty. Like no one's playing there. Or if they do, it's like scrubs. And I'm not good at Street Fighter. So that's what I'm saying. Like if I can beat them handily, they weren't very good to begin with. All the good players kind of jump around to whatever the newest hot game is in the arcades. And the arcades are shutting down even in Japan. So it's like less and less, and people just go to arcades less, and it's unfortunate. It's an interesting experiment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's an experiment. It'll be fun to try. It's all in the name. Joystick brings the joy. It's that simple. Just like Joy-Con, right? Like on the Switch. That's why they call it the Joy-Con. Hello, sir. Nice shirt. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. How's it going, man? I actually really like this shirt. I, my wife hates it because I wear it all the time. Uh, and it's not that I like love the design of it. It truly is my most comfortable shirt, which might be a plug for uh, Linus's store, but it truly like I wear it all the time, and so much so that I also have the hoodie of it. And whenever we go on vacation, I will always wear the hoodie over my normal clothes. And so in all the photos of vacation, Jason, it looks like I'm wearing the same clothes every single day because I wear the hoodie over my shirt. So yeah, that's a been an ongoing situation in my home that my wife complains that I wear this shirt too much. It's just comfortable. Like I don't know. I like how it feels on me, and it fits nice. Yeah, it's nice. If Linus announces his whale land dates, am I expected to see you out there? I want to try to make it. It's a little bit too close to it. I was thinking about it honestly. My wife and I have been talking about visiting Vancouver, so that would be a nice excuse to get out there. Uh, but if it happens within the next 6 months, I don't think it would happen. It would just be too close because we already have a couple of stuff planned out for the next couple months. We're going to PAX in Seattle, and that's on Labor Day weekend, so it's pretty soon here. And but if it was around that time, that would be perfect. We just stay a couple more days. Yeah, that'd be great. But I don't think they would ever do that. Um, so yeah, probably not. If it was like, let me think. If it was early next year, then yeah, I would probably go. But yeah, we went to an arcade the other day. My first time inside one for a very long time. I beat Rosie at track and field. That's a classic. Rosie, get on his level. What are you doing? Yeah, I haven't been to an arcade in a while, but I really do enjoy them. I think it's really fun. The Thoughts Pro. What's up, Tech Grant? MSI MPG B850 Edge Ti Wi-Fi versus the Gigabyte X870 Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 7 Ice. I don't know. You say which is better? You think? Interested to see what you say. Um, I'm not that deep into motherboards, to be honest. I don't even know any of these. I mean, I recognize the brands obviously, and I recognize the chipsets, but um, without having to do deep introspective on them, I would probably go with whatever is cheaper. Copy and paste. Are they the same? I mean, they're different. Okay, just looking at them, if they were the same price, I would probably go with, just by looking at the name, the X871. I like Aorus. I think their stuff's pretty high end. It's got Wi-Fi 7. That sounds good. Uh, yeah, if I had to pick right now, Gigabyte, Aorus Elite for sure of those two. But I don't know. I literally don't. I don't get too much into motherboards to be honest, because to me, I don't know. They don't affect your performance that much. It's mostly about the features, and so and if this board has Thunderbolt and the other one doesn't, and you need Thunderbolt, well, there's your winner. You know what I mean? Which is more popular, you think? Honestly, MSI seems to have more. You think the ice is interesting from a sales perspective? From what I understand, MSI runs much more volume over Gigabyte, and even more so Gigabyte Aorus, which is like a niche of a niche or whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe in terms of volume, the MSI one probably sells more, and it's probably cheaper. That's also probably why. You know what I mean? But in terms of like popularity, like people like highly rated, right? Like they think it's a better board. Probably the ice. Yeah, I don't see why not. And I'm assuming it's white because it's called ice. White stuff always is pretty highly rated. Is this for your build, Grant? Last stream, I asked if I should upgrade my stock cooler for my 9500 CPU. Okay, and you suggested that may be a good idea for gaming, and even a $10 third-party cooler would suffice. Could I ask why? For sure. So here's the thing: if you aren't gaming, what that generally means is that your computer is not going to be working that hard. So your CPU is not going to get to a level where it feels elevated. It's not using 80, 90, 100% of its resources. It's going to probably hover around 30, 40, maybe even 50 if you're just doing normal stuff like YouTube, whatever, like just normal stuff. Whenever you're gaming, you are literally having your CPU push as hard as it can to help out in the game, and especially to push the graphics card, right? So whenever we use more power, what do we get? We get more heat. And so whenever you're getting more heat, you have more chances of something going wrong. And the stock cooler should be good to go at thermal throttling rates. It probably wouldn't overheat, to be honest. It's an i5, you're not pushing a 5090 with it. But $10 is not a lot of money to get a cooler that would pretty much ensure that it never gets that hot and it doesn't thermal throttle. And when I say get hot, I mean get so hot that it literally turns off, right? Or it's thermal throttles, which means you're going to lose all the performance, so it cools down for a little bit. We never want to hit that level. And the stock coolers aren't built for that. So it's like some insurance, right? Like you could probably be fine, but for $10, I think it's worth it to get a cooler. They look better. It's going to last you longer than the stock cooler, and it allows your CPU to hit as high as it wants. Like if it wants to zoom to 100%, you let it, because you're gaming. Like that's what you want to do. And so $10, you should spend $10 instead of like hoping and praying that it doesn't do that. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion, though. In reality, if you monitor it and you are gaming and you see it and you run like, we'll say Furmark or some CPU blaster or whatever, and you run it for 20 minutes at full blast, literally the hardest your CPU can run, and you'd never see it thermal throttle, and this is on the stock cooler, then you'd be okay, probably. Like, I mean, that proves it to you that your stock cooler is enough for now, and then you'd be okay. So that would be the alternative. If you really don't want to spend $10, you can monitor it, push it to the max using software, and then see if you're okay with that performance. But again, it's only $10, so just do it. Facts, next PC build. Nice, congrats. Wall mounted, so I want it to stand out. Interesting. Very cool. Thanks for the feedback, bro. No problem, Grant. Thanks for your YouTube tutorials. I'll be lurking. Thanks, man. Always good to see you. A wall mounted. Very cool. I never have the balls to do that. I think having a very cool looking motherboard, yeah, that would make sense if aesthetics are very important. Yeah, that's one time I'd probably look into it. I would never have the balls to wall mount something because I move stuff around so much that I don't like the idea of my computer being set in stone. Because I'm so, I was going to say spastic, but I don't think you're supposed to say that anymore. I'm just all over the place when it comes to where my stuff is, and I constantly have to move it around, and so I couldn't lock it in. How to orient the fans in something like Sama IM01 and TechWare Fusion 2? I don't know. I think I know what the Sama IM01 is. Is that ITX? No, Micro ATX. Oh, I see. Check the manual, Martin site. The manual will tell you the best way to orient the fans. It'll give you a few different options. For the most part, honestly, you probably can't mess it up unless you're using some really high-end stuff. And even then, it's kind of more like leaving cooling performance on the table. It's very unlikely you thermal throttle anything or overheat or anything. It's just kind of like, well, my machine could be 5 degrees cooler if I flip this fan around. But generally speaking, how I like to do things is intake, in a small case, intake from the bottom, let the hot air rise, exhaust at the top. That's just what I do. So maybe if you have room for it, 2 intakes on the bottom and then a couple of fans on top to exhaust it out. But it is very different. I know that might not be the most optimal way. but it would probably work. And I'm not really, I don't really like sitting here talking about an hour on like the most optimal fan positioning. You know what I mean? Like if it works, it works, and if it's not thermal throttling, what do I care? I'm not. I don't care too much. I'm not going to spend an hour talking about it. But I know a lot of people get in the weeds about it, especially a lot of YouTubers. Sam, what's up, man? What's up, good brother? Night, Jason, everyone. What are we doing on stream tonight? We're just talking. We're just hanging out. I got nothing planned. Just a catch up stream. Yeah, we've been talking. Gangsta, what's up, guys? What's up, Nato? What is up, man? Did you get a B580 yet? Mike Brazone, what's up, Mike? Good to see you, man. I have a Vitro V5 that I got for $20, and it's awesome and cools my CPU like pro. Yeah, just that simple. Don't overthink it. That's why ITX blows. Because the ITX tax, they cost a lot more and run harder than normal sized PCs. Yeah, absolutely. All those things. All for a couple of liters of real estate that doesn't matter. Harder to build into. Bro, don't say that when some of the other people get in here. I'm not gonna say their names, but there are some people in this chat who they're not here now, but they love ITX and they will fight you for that. They are obsessed with it. Like they know all the leaders of all the favorite ITX cases. They talk about it all the time, so they will beat you. $20 test bench and some strong stud screws. Test bench title don't seem to do good, so want to spice it up. Okay, very cool. Interesting. No wall or table mount. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks very, very cool. And I wish I had the tenacity to know, hey, this is where the computer goes and this is where it's going to stay. But I just don't. Like, frankly, I know I move stuff around all the time because I'm never satisfied with like where stuff is. I've never gotten the perfect setup because I just constantly feel like it's inadequate and I go back and forth on everything. Thanks a lot. Yeah, for sure, man. Some guy wanted an ITX build with a 4090 Founders Edition. I don't know how I fit that thing in the case. Oh man, that's a big boy too. The 4090 was humongous. Wasn't it bigger than the 5090? At least the FE was. In your opinion, are AIO better than air coolers? In my opinion, AIOs look much cooler than air coolers. They look great. They're very sleek. They've got a great, very futuristic kind of matte look that looks really cool. But that's about where the compliments for AIOs end. They are more expensive. They don't work any better. They usually work the same or worse. They're more complicated. There's more points of failure. They are prone to failure. They've got water involved. I've never seen an air cooler break. I've seen 10 AIOs break. I don't know. Other than looks, there's no reason to buy an AIO. I truly believe that. That doesn't mean you've failed if you bought an AIO. If you like the way it looks, then yeah, why not? They look really cool. They really, really do. Air coolers don't look cool. They look stupid. But outside of that, they're just better in every way. I just don't know what to say. ITX fairies. Not only moving hardware, but changing hardware. That too. Yeah, I change hardware a lot. I even switch cases a lot, man. It can get very hot here in the summer, but I live in a valley near a mountain range. So the cold and heat just hang, making it crazy. Interesting. Yeah, it's not summer in Australia right now. It is literally in Texas. It's 40 degrees Celsius right now, Nathan. Every day, and it's about 101, 102 for my American friends, but it's very hot. Yeah, but I know Australia gets hot too, so that's not anything you're not familiar with. I told him not to open it unless he needs to, since I had to have 2 people to close it. It's a pain. Oh my god. Did y'all like sit on the case to push? So I'm guessing it was the power supply cables then that were like sticking up against the case. That was my guess. The only way I've gotten around that sometimes is to use those um, right angle 180-degree brackets. So it goes into the side of the GPU, and then you're able to plug in the power cables in the opposite direction. So you get like a nice flat finish at the top there, and you don't have like this much of cable sticking out towards the case. But yeah, air cooling, less maintenance. Yeah, that too. Like it's just in every way except for looks. I can't think of a reason why you would get an AIO, which again does not mean you shouldn't. If you want to get it, you get it. I'm not saying it doesn't work or that it's a scam or anything. It just frankly it just looks better, and everything else is either the same or worse compared to air coolers. Opinion on the RX 9060 XT 16 gig. I would like Jason's opinion on the 9060 XT 16 gig coming off NVIDIA Blackstream woes due to hardware driving compatibility. Interesting. So, I actually, if y'all weren't here at the start of the stream, I actually just ordered a 9060 XT 16 gig for $355, I think, from Amazon Prime Day, which is, MSRP basically. So, not a deal there or anything, but from what I've seen, I have not tested it myself. It has not arrived. But from what I've seen, if you don't care about ray tracing and you don't care about, much more than just playing games, it seems to be a pretty good value card if you're like dead set on buying new. It seems pretty good. I will say, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the best card, but for $350 brand new, and again, if you insist on buying brand new, it seems to be pretty good. Hold on. AIO cables, thick with 3Cs, lots of cable straps. Yeah, for the GPU. That's crazy. Oh, the AIO. Oh my gosh. Be careful, bro. If Scatterbolt heard you say you witnessed 10 AIO breaking, he would crash out and then say his point on air coolers is proven. Does he feel the same way? I haven't watched him say anything like that recently. But yeah, totally. That makes sense. He's a smart guy. I met him at this event actually at LTX 2023 and got to hang out with him over the weekend. Very nice guy. Yeah, he's pretty cool. It was cool not to just meet him, but also because he's friends with Danny, Nerd on a Budget, and so we got to actually hang out together and talk and stuff. And yeah, he seems like a very nice. He's a cool, nice guy. I like him. Very hot in Florida as well, for sure, dude. I got used to that when I lived in Richardson and spent a lot of time in Ray Hubert, Grapevine, and Eagle Mountain Lakes, for sure, dude. It's tough. It can get to over 40 degrees Celsius here, which is 101 F, almost every day during summer here with high humidity as well. Yeah, same here, Nathan, for sure. I live on the coast of Texas, so we're near the ocean, and yeah, just 100% humidity, 40 degrees every day, 3 months. It is the worst. My power bill is insane. Y'all would not. I mean, look, compared to like Germany, it's good, but I'm saying we have to run our central AC all day, every day. There is no alternative. There is no just open a window. It truly is too hot to just open a window. You can't do that. We would all be miserable, and it would not be a good time. We have to have AC running, and it's so hot that the ACs can only do so much. So we kind of have to push it a little bit harder. And Texas has deregulated power usage, power selling stuff. So basically, we like if you took how much we spend on power in the 3 summer months, it is equal to the rest of the year combined. Like it is so much. But power in Texas is pretty cheap. It just takes a lot to cool a home, and you have to run it all day, every day, and there's just no alternative. With the free 3D Mark benchmarks plus some games be enough to assess if the secondhand 6600 XTI bot is good. Yeah, totally. Yeah. My recommendation, if you want to stress test it, download Furmark. Furmark is literally designed as a GPU burner. It'll run your GPU at 100% and just crank it full power for as long as you'd like. And if you can let it go for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and it stays a consistent temperature and it doesn't thermal throttle and nothing breaks, in my mind, that's enough. I would probably play 1 or 2 games just to check the drivers to make sure how they work in different games that I play. But outside of that, yeah, that's enough. The Furmark alone should be for most of it, and then just a game or 2 for posterity. 9060 XT 16 gigs are pretty good for gaming, and I found they can game and stream with ease at the same time. Very nice, dude. It's nice to see that you don't need a $2,000 setup to game and stream, which I think a lot of people feel like you do. Their video encoders have gotten way better besides the H.264 encoder didn't change, sadly. Okay, yeah. I have not tried the AMD encoder in a while. I'm very NVENC pilled because I like it a lot. I like NVENC, I'll admit. So I have not tried it. If I'll probably do a video on that card in some way or another, and I'll be sure to throw in some streaming testing. That's something I don't really add in, but I should. It's a big part of it. I just kind of mention it, and then that's it. I want you to be honest. Are you going to be doing an RTX 5050 budget build for the quote 8 gig lovers NVIDIA praises? Probably not. I think every card has its place. So I don't want to say no one should buy the RTX 5050. But it's pretty expensive. And so it is for an incredibly small amount of people who want to buy, like they have to buy a brand new card and they have to have some NVIDIA features. Like maybe they use Blender that, Blender doesn't work very well on AMD, or, just different reasons. Like there's a very small subsection of people who I would say to buy the 5050 over the B580 from Intel. But they do exist. But it's just so small. I don't know. Unless some really cool 5050s come out, which we did see with the 3050. Like some really small ones. They fit in small form factor little office PCs. Maybe we'll do something with that. But yeah, I think it's too niche of a product for me, and it's too expensive. Honestly, if it was like $180, that'd be really good. I think that'd be really cool. Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll go down in price. Probably not, though, because it's NVIDIA. By the way, how is Nobe? I still can't believe he had twins. My guy's in the 5% of men who can deliver twins. I guess we should now call him the backbender now. But Danny's doing good. I talked to him about a week ago. We stay in contact. He's just been pretty busy, man. I've known about him, them being pregnant for a long time. But obviously I'm not going to announce that for him. But yeah, I've been kept in the loop. And as far as I know, he's doing good. It's just dealing with first-time fathership and all the downsides that comes with, and still trying to keep on top of his channel and stuff. And yeah, we liked how me and Danny communicate most of the time is we will send each other things that infuriate us. So he'll message me like a very stupid Reddit thread or something, in a way that he knows we both kind of agree on it in the opposite direction. And it's just kind of rage bait at this point for us. Like, he knows he hates it. He knows I'm going to hate it. Why even send it? And then the same thing with me. I'll be like, oh, man, I hate this. I know Danny's going to hate it. So I'll send it to him. Yeah. But yeah, he's doing good. He's just busy, man. I'm going to be in Seattle for PAX, which is Labor Day weekend. And I think he said he's going to try to go if his twins are doing, if his wife can handle the twins at that point. If not, I'll probably go to his house. If so, if he can't leave, I'll go to him so we can meet up. Maybe we'll do a stream. Excuse me. In the Houston swamp, dude, yeah. Galveston, I could handle that in the summer. Yeah, I'm in Houston, but yeah, I grew up kind of near Galveston, so I'm very familiar with it. Man, oh my gosh. Um, what's up, Robert? How you doing, man? Good to see you. It's been a minute. I love catching up with you guys. I hate streaming, but I love talking to you guys because that's the fun part. But you guys know how I feel about streaming. I am not gonna complain every time. The fun part is talking to y'all. The annoying part is the anxiety beforehand, the setup, the all that stuff. So I'm not gonna promise weekly streams anymore, but I will promise as often as I can, or if there's something to talk about. The problem is, you know what I mean? Thanks again. For sure, man. No problem. If you want to be a savage, run Furmark and a game at the same time. Oh, that's tough. Isn't Furmark already doing 100%? So would Furmark back off to allow the game to run, or would it just run very very poorly, or basically just max out the CPU? Maybe, I don't know. Just get a Strix Halo Max. I look. There is a part of me, something very deep inside me, that wants to get rid of every computer I own. Laptop, tablet, desktop computer, living room computer, whatever. Get rid of all of it and just buy an Asus ROG Z14 with the Halo Strix Max. That there's something inside of me that desperately wants that. I think it costs like $2,500. It's very expensive, and um, if you add up all of the computers it'd be replacing for me, it still wouldn't be $2,500. So I'd still be paying a premium. You know what I mean? But the fact that, oh man, you just have one computer for everything, your tablet, your desktop, your laptop, and it doesn't get hot on the bottom when you type on it, and you can take it anywhere, and you just move it from desk to airport to living room. Man, isn't that enticing? And it has good enough performance that it can game, it can video edit it within range of like an RTX 4060. That's so crazy. It's so amazing. I cannot wait until they get cheaper. It's gonna be so cool. Unfortunately, that's basically the um, only portable thing with it for now. I don't think anyone else has made a laptop with it. They've not made a tablet, that kind of stuff. The tablet part I could pass. I don't really care that it's a tablet, but if it was just in a laptop, that would be pretty cool because I actually hate gaming laptops. I hate them because you anything with a dedicated GPU is going to be hot, loud, and you have to bring a power brick that is like bigger than this, and it's like triple the size of this, and it's got heavy cords. And so by that time, you're carrying so much with you. It's like this isn't portable anymore. And if you want to do anything that's not gaming, the fans are kicking in, and it's just like defeats the purpose. So for me, if I want a gaming laptop, I would want something with an iGPU that's going to be quiet and not too bad, and not have to carry a giant brick. It should be able to be charged on 100 watt USB-C. That would be ideal. So I would be okay with a laptop that runs on like a Steam Deck type CPU, like a 8845HS or something like that. That's the ideal gaming laptop for me, which is not very powerful in terms of AAA gaming. But I think if we start seeing more stuff like the Halo Strix Max, I think it could be very cool. Because I honestly and truly don't like gaming laptops. Like even the thin and light ones, they're 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 okay, but you still have a giant power brick with you, and they're still loud and they're still hot. I would say they're even hotter than the normal ones, and you kind of lose performance because they have to throttle the power, the wattage to make it that small, and then the smaller it gets, the more expensive it gets. So it's like it's always a compromise. And the only thing wrong with the Z14 or Z13, sorry, with the Halo Strix Max is that it's expensive. Everything else on it is good. And so if we got more things like that that weren't so expensive, there would be no excuse for more people to buy it. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. It's tremendous. It's a tremendous opinion. Some of the best I've seen. Many people, they're saying that he knows everything he's saying about. They're saying his opinions are good. The greatest, maybe the greatest we've ever seen, ever. Ever. I don't know. Many people say he's not, though. Sad. Parenthood only has downsides. Send that to Danny during his next stream. He sends it to annoy, but also make your day. That's a real friend right there. That is kind of our relationship sometimes. We do talk about real stuff too, but like if it's just a random thing, we don't send each other memes. You know, we're not memes, and we're too old to send each other TikToks or anything. Like it primarily is just like, I hate this. My friend will also hate it. Let's talk about it. Gorgon Point APU, I am unsure if it will have the 8060S. That would be pretty great if it did. I want more. I want more 8060S, man. Mike, find me at Mini PC 350 to 800 with Strix Max. No way it's 350. No way. Oh, but you said, but you don't know if it has the 8060S. I see. Interesting. So they're just leaving it out? So what would it have instead? Yeah, the framework ones, they do have it with the 8060S, but it's like $1,500, which again is, I don't think that's that expensive for what it is. It's groundbreaking technology. It'll go down in time, but for now, that's not as insane as it should be. Framework did a great job there, but it is not portable, so it can't replace everything I have. But in terms of people who want mini PCs, pretty cool. What's up, Sleepy Mushroom? Good to see you, man. Yes, Wagwan family. Up to $14.99. Okay, that's what I thought, Mike. I was about to say, yeah, up to 2,000. Okay, yeah, quite a range. That's what I was thinking. I was like, how is that possible? That sounds like insane. I should have kept reading. My bad. Max with the 8060S starts at $12.99 and downstack is $8.90. That makes more sense. Yeah, that does make more sense. Pretty still $12.99. That's still pretty good. I feel like. I think that's pretty good for what it is. And it's hard to explain that to someone who's not like you guys are all what's the term? I don't want to say experts, like aficionados. Like you guys love this crap. Most people they don't know. And so you just tell them, hey, this costs $1,500 and it has the same performance as an RTX 4060. And then they're like, well, can I just buy an RTX 4060 and put it in a PC for $1,000 or $800? You're like, yeah, but this one doesn't have a dedicated GPU. It's all built on one chip. They're like, why do I care? Like, what's the difference? That was incorrect. 395 is max and 370 is just the 890M. Okay. Pretty cool. I think it's really cool. I think it's some of the most excitement I've had in PC tech in a long time. It's something that's, since like the Steam Deck, it is something that's new and interesting, and like, yeah, I think it's really cool. I heard Steam Decks were good too. Steam Decks are cool. Steam Decks, all of those are all running on APUs as well, and they're cool. But plug a Steam Deck into a computer that's running a high resolution, it doesn't feel as good. When you're playing on like a little 7-inch screen, it's totally fine. But the second you plug it into a 27-inch monitor and you're trying to run it at 1080p, you're playing 30 FPS on AAA games, and it's tough, but it's good if it's all you have. But I think a lot of people, they want more. I have considered getting a Steam Deck, but the pricing here is a bit high. If I can get a decent used one, I may grab one. Very cool, man. They are very fun, I will say. Especially Nathan, you sound like someone you're kind of like always on the go. You got a lot of stuff going on. Like you got like appointments and you got to go here and there. Like, and that's why I think if you're driving there, Nathan, it could be great, dude. Having a Steam Deck in your car or in your bag, like, or if you're taking the metro or something, and you can pull it out while you're waiting for an appointment, or you are, on the subway and you're just you get to play whatever you want. Fantastic. It's truly fantastic. Like, I don't like playing games on my phone, but I'll play games on a Steam Deck all day. So yeah, if you can get a cheap one, yeah, I'd say go for it. Maybe a used one. Agree with Jason about gaming on a laptop. It's just like I like gaming on a laptop. It's not that. It's just that it's hot, okay? And the brick is huge and it's loud. The fans are so loud. You can't ever do it discreetly. And like all of this has been solved by like the Steam Deck and by the other handhelds, but then you don't get as much performance. You don't get anywhere close, and you don't get a keyboard, so it's not really a replacement. So my wife's laptop, she primarily plays indie games, so she doesn't need a dedicated GPU. So she is running a laptop that has like a beautiful OLED screen, and it's very thin and light, really thin and light, and it runs 870M graphics, I think, something like that, probably 870, maybe not 890, 870 for sure. And it runs all her games 1080p, tons of FPS, no problem, and it's great. And the thing's quiet, it's not hot, the battery lasts forever. It's great. And so like, and if I'm playing on a laptop, I'll be honest, where am I? Am I on an airplane? I can't plug it in. I don't need 200 watts of power in an airplane. Unless I like am living in hotels for work for long stretches of time, I want to play things like TFT, League of Legends, Hades, like those lower end games that would run on a lower end IPU is more than enough for me. I think that's fine. So like if I got a gaming laptop like that, I would probably get like what she has, because it allows you to do everything you want except have insane performance in AAA games. But I wouldn't be playing AAA games on it because it wouldn't be my only device. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. Portable gaming is overrated, but I own a Steam Deck and I don't have a computer with a dedicated GPU, so I can't be talking. Fair. It depends who you ask. For a lot of people, portable gaming kind of saved them. Like I've heard, especially a lot of dads, heard a lot of dads say they bought a Steam Deck and it changed their life. They went from like never playing any games for the last 5 years because they could not find time to sit at a computer and play, to now they have a Steam Deck and they play all the time. It has unlocked something for them and they love it, and they get to play more than ever. And so it's just about like your scenario. I've also heard a lot of truckers. They had a hard time plugging in a gaming laptop because the plugs just take up so much power. But then they have a Steam Deck or an ROG Ally or something, and they love it. They finally get to play games while they work, and it's, yeah. So for a lot of people, they are a godsend, truly. But then there are some people who just never use it, right? And that's okay too. But it's just not for you. How much longer will you be live for? Honestly, maybe 30 minutes. Yeah, sorry, Rob. We got some stuff to do before it gets too late. So I won't be doing my classic 4-hour stream tonight. I have a general question. Why don't they make a small, flat, liquid cooling block inside the laptops to help lower temps and deliver and more performance and be refilled as well with ease? Sam, I know what you're saying sounds like, yeah, just put some fucking water in the laptop. Like, it makes sense. I understand what you're saying. And there have been some I'll say prototypes of what you're saying. Nobody wants water in their laptop. Like nobody wants that. It's that's just not happening. It's one thing when your computer is there, because if it's a desktop computer, because it's just sitting there. Laptops get moved. They slosh around. They get thrown in bags. They heat up. They cool down. They are portable. You can't have water in it because it just is not a good idea. Having water that close to electricity and there's just not the computer would need to be so much thicker to allow it as well. You don't if you put it in like a little reservoir that is so thin that it would fit in a laptop, it wouldn't be enough water to cool anything down. Because laptops actually need more cooling. And if you've seen how big the reservoirs are on the desktop, imagine what a laptop would need. And so if you do anything that would fit in normally, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not enough water, and there's not enough room to like build in what you're saying. Although there have been prototypes of what you're talking about, but most of it is external. It's like the reservoir is outside the laptop, and whenever it's that big, it doesn't make sense, but it does. It is pretty cool. It's a cool idea, and I understand why you're asking it, but we just haven't solved that problem yet. Uh, Maybe in the future, and maybe we get some kind of crazy element that we're like, yeah, just put like people say liquid metal. Maybe we'll get some kind of liquid metal situation where it's like, yeah, we just need a little bit of this, and it cools everything down, and that's awesome. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool. But just having uh, water, or more realistically, whatever uh, the element they use, it probably wouldn't just be straight water. I don't think they just use straight water in AIOs. Maybe put some Freon in there. It would be so crazy. They also probably wouldn't allow them on planes, right? Because there's just liquid inside. Uh, but something like that would be pretty cool. Bro, thank God you're here. I need help. How much watts needs my power supply if I have an E5 2630 V4 and an RX 588 gig? Uh, 400 watts or more is fine. I'd say don't use like a 250, but if you have like 4 or 500, you're good. Don't overthink it. I'd say maybe pick 500 just to be safe, but 400 would probably be enough. Like those are pretty old components, so you're gonna be okay. It's still a heat transfer problem. Liquid equal conduction to air convection. Yeah, there's just not a room. There's not enough room to convert that, to transfer it. Like you still need more fans. That water has to get cooled down somehow, and we just fit a tiny little amount. Like those fans are gonna be so loud. Like I understand what you're saying, but it's just like it's more of like an idea that they've tried, and it just doesn't make sense with current technology. But it's not a bad idea. It's kind of fun. What if we replace the water with mineral oil or liquid metal? It doesn't work that way. You could, yeah, do it. It just doesn't. You still have to cool it though. Liquid metal wouldn't work for obvious reasons. Mineral oil, I also don't think that's a good idea. It has the opposite effect. Um, but I do recommend looking up that stuff, Sam, because there have been people who've kind of built prototypes for this kind of stuff, but none of it's ever inside because it takes up so much room. Like the laptop would need to be this thick. It just doesn't make any sense because of thermodynamics. Like there's just no possible way for us to cool it down unless there's some kind of new fan technology or some kind of polymer or something. Like it's way above my pay grade and my knowledge base. I'm just saying from a practical standpoint, um, it's a fun idea, but it's a question. Those questions have already been asked for 20 years, and it's just not possible. Yeah, mostly with size constraints, and it would just make it so much heavier too. Man, like laptops have to stay at least kind of thin and kind of portable. You know what I mean? KJ, what's up, man? How you been, man? Pass by, just send greetings. Thank you. Good to see you, man. Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Good to see you, dude. Nice to see some familiar faces. With 2020 hindsight, I should have gotten an ROG Ally X over my laptop. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make that decision. I get it. My biggest decision when people ask me that is, do you intend to do anything other than gaming? If the answer is yes, literally anything, get a laptop. If you only want to game, get a portable. It's just easier. Yeah, still problematic to move hot conductive heatsink inside the laptop to ambient air. That's what I'm. Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Like, 1 + 1 = 3. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But maybe one day. It would be really cool if they figured out that problem somehow. Thanks for the feedback. I have a lot of appointments for my mom and I. Minor stuff for my PTSD mainly, but mom for her heart issues. Gotcha. Yeah. Then yeah, this might be great, dude. And I don't. I mean, if you're in the waiting room with your mom and or just waiting, like yeah, like could be good. Maybe just to relax before any like treatments or appointments. Could be nice. I wish you're in America because you can get a Steam Deck here used for like $300 these days. It's pretty nice. I've seen some as low as like $270 on local markets. As people upgrade to like the newer stuff, Steam Decks, yeah. I mean, even refurbished from Valve, it's like $300. It's pretty great. I still feel like it could work if the variable you mentioned can be overworked and solved. Yeah. Yeah. It's also a cost equation. Yeah, very true. AKA cost versus benefit. As an engineer, trust me, everything has been tested. That's what I'm saying. Like, they've tried this. If it's not on the market, the cost benefit isn't there. Yeah, it'd be too expensive. There's too much risk. It'd make it too heavy. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, I think technically it could work, but the laptop would be this thick. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not a dumb idea. It makes sense to like transition that, but it just in practical terms, it cannot be solved. And if it can be solved, it's not cost efficient yet. Have you played Split Fiction? I'm leaning towards getting it. It looks good. I have not. I'm waiting for it to go on sale, Rose, but I think you and Hayden would enjoy playing it. If you haven't tried it, you can try It Takes Two, which is the game they made before Split Fiction, which is also, it's kind of in the same vein where it takes two players to play it, and it's also pretty fun. It's about divorce, so, you know, that'll be fun. What do I think of building a PC with a 1080 Ti and an i5-10400F? Sounds good to me. Why not? That sounds good. As long as the price is right. 1080 Ti is still good. I remember Acer did a monster gaming laptop years ago with a modular water cooler attachment that was ridiculous. Yeah, that's what I've seen. I've seen stuff like that like you said, it's ridiculous. Very cool. Don't get me wrong. Very cool, very innovative, very interesting that it exists, but it's ridiculous. And they get discontinued the next year. And they act like, yeah, we're going to support this for years. This is the new standard, but not enough people buy into it, and they just cancel it. And then now you have this old gimmicky junk years later. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, but it is cool. What is the next video project? Next video project is actually a Switch 2 review for the Nintendo Switch 2. Kind of not a review, kind of my experience using it for the past month. I took on a vacation recently, and spoiler alert, I kind of like it. I think it's really cool. The biggest thing I like about it is, here is the Legion Go. Look how thick this is and heavy. It is insane. It is a chonker. The Switch 2 is about half as thick. At its thickest or its thinnest parts. These are much thinner on the Switch 2, so it can actually fit in a bag like a laptop. This does not go in carry-on. This sucks. This is so heavy. This is obviously more powerful, and so it has its upsides as well. But the Switch 2 is pretty cool. I really like it, actually. And so the video is going to be kind of going over that from primarily a PC gamer perspective. But I like it, yeah. I think that's going to be cool. That's the next one. After that, and I'm looking at a board where I write stuff down. After that, I might break out one I've been kind of keeping in the chamber. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's all open there. I've been really slow recently. I used to be able to crank out a video a week, but I've been struggling with motivation, and maybe burnout and stuff. So it's been a little bit slower lately. Hoping to pick it up, especially in the summer, man. I lose all motivation in the summer because it's just so hot. And so but we'll see. The Switch one should be fun, and I'm hoping to get that out maybe by Friday at the latest. Hopefully before that. Oh no, the feet dude is here. I wish Einstein was still here to say, son, you're on a right path, but the road is on the other side. Sam, I want to be honest. When I read this, I thought you said, I wish Epstein was still here. I was about to come down on you. He said, I wish Epstein was still here to say, you're on a right path, but the road is on the other side. I was like, Sam, what is wrong with you? Yep, Mike's got the right idea. I love It Takes Two. Nice. Then you'll love Split Fiction. Honestly, it's just more. It's more of that. It's better, and it's more of it, but without the divorce. Sorry, I don't own any gaming PC, so I can't play them games. You own at least 5. That's true. Maybe if you sell 2 of those, Hayden, you can buy Split Fiction. Maybe. Jason, have you run into any black screen issues with modern NVIDIA GPUs with different hardware configs? Interesting. Let me think. I mean, I've tested out the RTX 5090, and I've tested out the 5070. I've tested out the 4060. I think that's the only one I tested for 4,000. No, and I tested out the 4070 Super. And of all of those, I don't think I ever experienced that. Yeah. I used the 5090 exclusively for 3 months. And I think the first 2 days I had a little driver issues because it was like brand new. But then once they got out a new patch, it wasn't black screens though. It was just kind of crashing. And then once they got out the new drivers, it was gone. And it was smooth sailing for 3 months. So yeah, I haven't had any issues like that. Is that something you're going through, Luke? I mean, I don't doubt it. I mean, hardware is weird. Like, it can affect different people differently. Is a used Nintendo Switch 1 a good buy in 2025? They're going for $120 in the marketplace. It's a good question. That's a good price, honestly. For what you get, if you are not so concerned with playing the newest, greatest, and latest, and you're on a budget, yeah, it's pretty good. Because if you can't afford a Switch 2, which is better than the Switch 1 in every way, it just is. But it also costs 4 times the amount of what you just said. Maybe 5 if you include tax. So using that, I think a Switch 1 at 120 is a really great deal. Yeah, because there's not that many games on Switch 2 yet. It's just basically Mario Kart World. But there's a ton of games, Switch games. So if you can't afford the Switch 2, a Switch 1 at 120 is a really, really good deal. Yeah, that sounds great. And you can play all the Switch games. And then whenever you are ready to upgrade, like let's say after a year or 2, you love it and you're like, all right, Switch 2 finally has some games I want to buy. You can sell that. All of those Switch games will now work on your Switch 2. So don't have to worry about like, buying into a dead platform or something. So yeah, it's a good deal. Hey Mirage, what's up, man? How are you? Hope you're a good. Long time since I last stopped by. Yeah, dude. How is it going? How's your setup doing? Interesting. The ads changed. It now plays split screen with the stream. Interesting. I did not know that. That's good to know. Because yeah, it does. That's the problem with Twitch, is that streams make people, or ads make people click away constantly. So if there's like a split screen, it's a little bit more tolerable. Nice. I'm gonna check that out. That's pretty cool. Hell no, Jason. You want Epstein back? Don't worry, man. I believe you'll get back on track real soon. I hope so, dude. I'm yeah, it's okay. It's personally, I'm fine. It's just purely like work stuff. Yeah, maybe I'm just what's the term? Unmotivated. There's just like nothing too exciting, and yeah, we'll see. Speaking of screens, nothing beats the OLED on the Steam Deck. Cannot understand why the RG Ally X and Xbox Ally X will not have OLED screens. Good point. It's because of price. It is actually very expensive to add that. OLED, especially at tiny manufacturing screens like that, are very expensive. And the RG Ally X and Xbox Ally X are already very expensive devices. And the Steam Deck, they don't make profit because you're buying into their system, so they take a big cut. But yeah, it really does look good. The OLED screen on the Switch OLED is amazing. Looks fantastic. Steam Deck OLED looks great. Truly, really, really good. I think they should have like RG Ally X, and they should put like an OLED screen on it that you pay more for. But then you have too many SKUs. You're competing with it. It gets complicated. Like, you know, and then a year later they can say, hey, you want this, but with OLED now? We have that now. And so now you're getting the people who bought the original to upgrade. It's a consumer trap, but I from their perspective, I can kind of understand where they're coming from because I know how expensive small OLED screens are. I can't even launch Doom the Dark Age. I get audio and no video and inputs don't work. Interesting. I know that's one of them newfangled games. That should work on an RTX 3060 though. Huh. Maybe update your drivers. By the way, we're going to talk about the FBI arresting gamers for pirating games, aka Nintendo telling them to. Well, Nintendo doesn't tell FBI to do anything. But yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, not to side with Nintendo, but a lot of people they're just straight up stealing games, unfortunately. And so it's hard to say. While I do kind of agree with video game archival, and I think a lot of games can be pirated justifiably, a lot of the people who are like the most fervent about piracy, they just straight up steal games. Like a brand new Nintendo game will come out and they're downloading and they're playing it for free, and they are acting like they're like Robin Hood. This will stick it to them, right? But in reality, you're just not paying for something that a lot of artists and people put a lot of work into. And you can say, well, I don't want to give them money. Well, then don't play their game. You know what I mean? So it's like, I kind of understand, because I think about if I made something that people were supposed to pay for and I spent a lot of my time on it and I'm really proud of it, and I made no money for years and years in hopes that the game would pay it back, and then I just hear a bunch of people saying they're just going to steal it, it doesn't feel very good. You know what I mean? Even if it is like a multi-billion-dollar company, the people who work on it are still artists, and I think the amount of people who pirate is a negligible effect, but we are seeing a lot of layoffs, and so I don't know. I don't think people should be arrested for piracy. I think that's pretty crazy, but yeah, it's a tight situation. That's why I support Stop Killing Games, for I understand the pirating of the company view, but do we actually truly own our games? Yeah, that's a different story. I would love, Linus Tech Tips has talked about this a lot. Like, they should allow people to play old versions of games, because yeah, I mean, buying a game and the server shut down in a year or two and you can never play it again, that does suck. So that's what I think piracy is totally legitimate. Nope, not even a question asked. Like, if you cannot purchase this game or play it the way you want to play it when it existed, what else are you supposed to do? There's no way to buy it. There are a lot of games that are like lost to time, that the developers they're just gone. There's no way to play that game, especially a lot of older games, like a lot of old DOS games. You can't buy them anywhere. So what are you supposed to do? Like at that point, yeah, just pirate it. Like, of course. But if you're the type of person who you pirate literally every AAA game that comes out and you feel like you're some kind of like Robin Hood, cringe, you know what I mean? And that's who I've met. It's not really people who like, yeah, I pirate here and there. It's generally the people who I've talked to, they pirate everything and they feel proud about it. It's like, okay, dude, that's fine. You can pirate what you want, but like, don't act so proud about it. Like, how dare they charge me money for the thing they spent millions of dollars on? How dare they? That is unacceptable. I steal everything. And I think there's less of a moral obligation to it because it's not a physical good, right? It's a digital good. So that whole, what was that old ad? You wouldn't steal a car, right? Like, yeah, the pirates wouldn't steal a car. They wouldn't go out and steal something physical, probably, I would say. But the fact that it's like so removed from theft, even though it is, let's be honest, there's kind of like a moral ambiguity to it. Like people don't really feel bad about piracy. But if they stole something from a physical store, I think they would feel maybe not bad, but they'd elicit some kind of emotional response, right? Just from a normal, average human feeling. Like, I don't think anybody is, even people who consistently steal, I think most of them kind of know it's not good. No, pirates steal boats. True. That's true. I pirate Jason Whitmer videos so that he can't get the ad revenue. Screw that guy. Dude, you joke, but there are people like that. Not for me, but there are some creators out there who like they hate them, right? But they still want to watch their stuff for some reason, to see them react to someone they love or something like that. And they have very special ways of like a person who hates the person will stream the video on Twitch and walk away from the computer so that basically 20,000, 30,000 people are watching it, but like only one view is counting, right? And so because they all want to watch it, but they don't want to support the creator, I'm like, that is next level psycho behavior. Hold on, I need my AC on. It's getting too hot. The AIO laptop, genius. Just screw in a water bottle as the reservoir. That would be so cool. I'm telling you, that would be very, very cool. Thanks for your feedback. I ran into a driver issue with a B450 and a 3050. Interesting. Huh. That's strange. If you were buying a new or recent used video card, AMD or NVIDIA? I am a certified NVIDIA shill. I don't really like a lot of NVIDIA's practices, but there's a reason why they own 90% of the GPU gaming market. If NVIDIA and AMD cost the same amount, AMD would go out of business. And that's just a fact, unfortunately. I love AMD for the value they bring, but in general terms, NVIDIA generally has the better tech. They've got better software. They've got more things to add to it. The only downside is their scummy marketing and their price. The price is always very high. So if I was buying a new or recent used video card, I think new from NVIDIA, the only one that is like a good value to dollar or as close as you're going to get, I would say it's like maybe the 5070 if it came with a free game. Like it was coming with Doom recently. I think it's okay. And it's like what, 550? Should be cheaper, but again, it is what it is. Or the 5070 Ti. I think it's a little bit more, but it has more VRAM. Does the 5070 have 12 gigs of VRAM? I think it does. If it does, then yeah, that's fine. AMD, I just bought the 9060 XT 16 gigs, so yeah, but I bought that new. I think there's a cat outside. We got a buddy. Little buddy was meowing outside. But yeah. But again, AMD and Nvidia, they both make good cards. It's all about price. That's the thing you need. People always, it always comes down to price. Like, it's just what it is. I would not be afraid to buy an AMD card, but as a content creator, NVENC is really good, and I like RTX voice, and I like all the features that Nvidia has. I like instant replay. AMD is starting to catch up. They're doing a little bit better. Fun. But yeah, I just, if I had to, if price was no object, I'd go Nvidia every time. I just cannot understand how Nintendo can ask 450 with a screen with such bad contrast, input lag, and lackluster HDR. Yeah, it's because they can. It is a, you're comparing it to a PC handheld when you should be comparing it to like a console, and that's the thing. It's just different. And I know consoles are just computers, but they serve very different use cases. It's, the Switch 1 is one of the greatest selling consoles of all time, and the Switch 2 is better than the Switch 1 in every way. So people are just like, yeah, it's just more of what I like. Most people don't get down in the nitty gritty of HDR, input lag. Most people don't care, right? It's just enthusiasts. They just want to play their Mario games and they want to have a good time, right? They're not looking at the frame rate. They're not looking at any of that. They just want to have a good time. And I have of the strong opinion that most people would enjoy their computers more if they turned off the frame rate, because just looking at it, just play your games. 450 is kind of expensive though. I wish it was more like 400. The Switch 2 screen isn't OLED, but it outperforms those screens 1080p and 120. It looks really good. I like the, yeah. It's not OLED, but I think it looks pretty good. That's true. I don't support that side of pirating. If the game is gone, then that's fine. But as the game comes out, nah, bro, you too brave. That's kind of where I'm at. But again, people will say like they made it so hard. Like they'll come up with all kinds of justifications. Like I refuse to buy a game that has DRM. It's like, okay, dude. Okay. Let's your reasons keep getting narrow and narrower. Where basically any game that comes out, you've justified pirating it. Like, calm down. I know a lot of churchgoers that have jailbroken Roku boxes and think it isn't theft. Yeah, it's when it's digital content, it doesn't feel like theft for sure. Yeah, it's Brownie, beautiful cat. Yeah, Brownie's doing good. I had the door closed, but I could hear him outside, so I just let him in. I think he wanted to see what we were doing, but he left. This is the problem I'm running into with PC gaming. My rig is a budget baller. To play the newer games, I need to shell out hundreds of dollars. I own Xbox, PS5, and Switch 2. The games just work on the hardware I own. And this is one of the giant upsides of consoles, where you don't have to think about this kind of stuff. You know, if you buy a game, it will work on it, and you don't have to think about the frame rate. You don't have to think about any of that stuff. Like, I can pop in the disc, it will work. The work's been done, right? And you can just play the games. From the industry, I only buy at run-in clearance at top of stack as best I can afford, with at least a 5-year life expectancy. Fair. So the overall purchase cadence is always run and sale, and open box is okay. For sure. That's a great way to go about it. You get some really good value out of that. Shining J makes a great point. Probably the best point anyone's made here tonight. And I want you to read this. As long as it plays my Pokemon and my Zelda, I love it. Actually well said. Like, I'm not even joking. People want to play the games. It's about the games. The hardware enables the games. So as long as your $200 computer can play the games you like, it's awesome. As long as your console can do it, it's also awesome, right? Now, if your computer can't play the games you like with Dylan's having, well, then you have a problem, right? But on consoles, it just works. And I respect that a lot. I like consoles. I think people assume I'm like super anti-console. I like them a lot, actually. I like that you can still buy physical games and resell them and make some of that money back. I like that a lot. You can't do that on PC. The cat pieced out. He just comes in to see what we're doing. That's it. Good evening, Jason in chat, Mr. C&D. What is up, my brother? Good to see you. I only refuse to buy games that come out as betas instead of a full game. Cough, mind's eye. That's totally fair. I think I also know some people who refuse to buy early access games, but they don't pirate it. They just wait. Like they wait until the game fully comes out. But the sad part is some games never do. Like they literally will stay in beta for 10 years or something, and with no intention to ever come out of early access. And they've already made the bag, and so there's like no point to do it. Unfortunately, that's kind of the downside. So I understand why these people do that. Yeah, I get it. I'm planning on building a budget gaming PC for my girlfriend for Fortnite VR chat. Very nice. That's a great thing to do for sure. Congrats for her. Luckily, VR chat and Fortnite don't require too much computing power. I remember VR chat's a pretty old game. People don't realize how old VR is. They still think you need a top-line computer. When I first used VR, it was on and this was current at the time, the CPU was a 4690K. Okay, an i5, 4690K. And the GPU was a GTX 970, 4 gig, more like 3.5 gig. And it ran all those early VR games fine. VR chat, all those things, no problem. So yeah, you could totally do it. It's totally. And Fortnite, runs on anything. My console playing younger self would freak out seeing my dual monitor gaming PC setup, 4060, 8 gig, 32 gigs RAM, and some Intel CPU from Costco. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. And I agree. I think it feels good to have a good computer. I love computers, and I love gaming computers. But they're not for everyone. I don't think everyone should go out and build their own computer. I don't even think they should buy one. I think a lot of people should stick with console. It's a lot of headache to own a gaming PC and to have all the games on it. If you're really into the ecosystem and you use it all the time, it's like a no-brainer. Yeah, you're gonna love this thing. But there's most people, they don't. Especially a lot of new young people, they have no idea how to run Windows. They only know cell phones, or Mac from school, or Chrome OS more realistically. And so you give them Windows, it's like, can't I just go play Xbox, or whatever? Like, why do I have to learn this? Why can't I just play my game? Like, I use Chrome OS for school, and I use iOS on my phone, and I use my PlayStation. Like, why do I have to learn Windows? Why do I have to do all this stuff? I can't wait to play that Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks really fun. It's basically a Wreck-It Ralph ripoff, it feels like. Donkey Kong is Wreck-It Ralph, and Paula, or whatever her name is what was her name? Penelope? As long as it plays American Truck Simulator, I'm good too. Yeah, everyone draws their line. It's like, this is what I want. This is what I want out of a computer. Everything else, it don't really matter. I also don't understand the hate on the Xbox PC launcher. I use Game Pass for 90% of the PC games I play. Game Pass value is wild. Yeah, for sure. It's if you actually use it, it's a really good value. It's really good. I think people forget to use it. I will say, I don't like the launcher because it's very buggy. The last time I used it, it's just buggy compared to Steam. It's just not as good as Steam. It frankly isn't. It's just really buggy and weird, and it crashes, and it's just slow, and I don't know. I just don't like it. But once you get past that, it's really good. it's like the value is very good, and you don't spend that much time in the launcher, so it's not the end of the world. She's been playing on a mini PC. She needs a better one because she's gotten into VR chat model work, like making a custom avatars. Ah, very cool. Yeah, perfect then. You're good to go. Hey Jason, do you think Xbox is going to be the same after the layoffs and also deciding to go with AI mostly? That's a good question, Sam. I don't think any company will ever be the same after AI. Here's the thing. Microsoft is a software company. They are. They've always been a software company. And AI is software. And right now we are in a unfortunate arms race for AI where no one knows how they're going to make money on it yet, but we all kind of agree that whoever is the best at AI will win. That's kind of the idea. It's speculative. We don't really know how it's going to make money because right now they're just burning cash getting AI, but they're trying to, they don't want to get left behind because we've seen this before. If think about like BlackBerry and iPhone. BlackBerry and Nokia were on top of the world. No one thought they could be competed with. And then iPhone came out, and instead of innovating to a smartphone, Nokia and BlackBerry doubled down on what made them so successful, and look what happened. Now imagine that, but there's actually like 100 companies trying to fight for it, and they all kind of know exactly where to go, and they all know it is the future, but they don't know how they're going to get there. But they know it's going to take a lot of money to get there. And they just know we need to get this in now so that whenever it does become apparent to us how this is going to make money, we're ready. And if we look at NVIDIA, I think it's like something like less than 10% of their profits come from gaming. So like we're sitting here talking about NVIDIA cards. It's nothing. 10%, that's nothing. It's a line item for NVIDIA. They make all of their money on AI GPUs. And they are the world's richest company by far right now. So it's unfortunate, but that is kind of the way it has to go. Microsoft has not made money on Xbox ever, but they have a lot of money. So they bought all these game developers, and they bought all this software, and they bought all this, and they're just trying to figure out like, where's the money come? Like they make money, obviously. Microsoft makes a lot of money, but I don't know. It sucks that they had to do a lot of layoffs. But I hope some good stuff comes out of the AI stuff because it absolutely will. I know it's all doom and gloom right now with AI because we think about replacing AI artists and stuff, which is very annoying. But there are some amazing use cases for AI coming up that they're working on now, like in the healthcare field, being able to cure diseases 10,000 times faster than we could have before. That's amazing. So there's going to be some really cool stuff, and we are in this hurtful period right now where we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know how we know how we're going to get there, but we don't know the outcome, and we don't know what's going to happen. Just like when robots replace automotive workers, the same thing was happening. They're like, what am I supposed to do? This is going to take over the world. It's like, well, a lot of new stuff came out of that because we took those workers away from doing menial tasks. The same thing with AI. The stuff that AI is going to replace, new things are going to come up that are way better. It's just we're in that medium ground that really sucks. People are going to get laid off. They are. And bad we're going to have a little bit of a bad time. But it is imperative that a good country that doesn't have a dictator wins the AI arms race, or at least a company from that, because you don't want a country that like harvests organs to be the winner of AI, because then everyone is using that and supplying them money and giving, you don't want that. So it's very, very imperative that a country that is democratic, doesn't have to be the US, that a country that is democratic wins the AI arms race. It's very imperative. What's funny is that the space race, which, back in the days when the USSR versus America were trying to get to the moon first, that didn't matter. It truly didn't matter. In retrospect, it didn't matter as much as we thought it would. It was more of an ego thing. But the AI one, this actually does matter. It's actually really important. And whoever wins, it kind of decides the fate of that country for like the next 100 years, possibly, maybe 50, maybe 100. Like, so it's very important, and I think we all kind of see that. But it's going to be scary getting there. We're going to see a lot of layoffs, but the end result for society will be good. Why does this keep freezing? I think the writing's on the wall. Yeah. I'm an Xbox gamer mostly, but they are quickly becoming a third-party publisher. Yeah. My mid-50s dad plays games on Xbox One. I want to make him a PC that can load his games faster, too. I've been getting really nerdy, and I want my first few bills to be budget ballers. Very cool. I also don't want my mom and dad taking my new ThinkPad for Sonic Adventure 2 and Arcade Donkey Kong. Fair. Do you think there's any good use of AI? I personally see only one good thing to use it for, and that's real-time translating AI in creative fields is a monstrosity. I'm a PC nerd and art nerd. Yeah, tons of stuff, I'm telling you. Like, as it's because we are simple people, the first, like, and uncreative people were the first to flock to AI to create things to make themselves feel creative. So you've got these uncreative losers using AI to make art or to make songs or to make videos. Basically, they are people who they are not creative, but finally they feel like they're like, wait, I am creative. I just created this AI art. And it's like, no, dude, you're not creative. I'm sorry. And that's why you're doing this, because you're trying to make a buck, right? So because we're simple people, that's like the first things we flock to. But in the background, we are using AI for some really, truly amazing things. It's going to be interesting to see how it translates to day-to-day stuff, because obviously, if you know how to use AI assistants, they are amazing for a lot of things. They solve a lot of life's little problems, and they are a great tool for education. But outside of that, I think we're going to see some really cool stuff. It's going to come down from businesses using it effectively, and then it's applying that to us. ChatGPT is kind of the start, but ChatGPT is not going to revolutionize the world. But it started the AI arms race, and when that comes to fruition down the road, then we'll see what they really come up with. Yes, they won't get caught with their pants down again. You can be sure they will be an AI frontrunner. They learned after ignoring the phone space. Precisely. But everyone also knows that, Dylan. That's why Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Twitter, every huge company in the world is like, I don't want to get left behind. And that's why we see AI in everything right now. It will come and go. Yes, AI will be transformative in the critical path of product innovation. It will revolutionize design and society. Eventually, yes, it will. I feel it for the workers and the gamers too. I feel like Halo especially is definitely cooked, and also some of their bangers like Forza Horizon 2. Hopefully not. The 5090 race matters. AI is soulless and has no space in the creative field, in my opinion. It steals from artists without permission. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. For some reason, whenever robots first replaced automotive workers, the first thing people thought is like, wow, this can do dangerous menial tasks and we don't have to let humans do it. This is great. So they can go off and they can, be creative and write poetry and create art. But now it's like, wow, this AI chatbot is amazing. We can use it to replace art and music and stuff. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? It's the opposite. This will allow us to free up time from all that other crap so that we can go and create the art, man. You don't want to hear this, but machines will likely create better art and music and screenplays that have ever existed. It is very possible, unfortunately, but we'll have to see. Being creative is a kind of a human trait that it would be hard to make an AI completely do it because it's trained on us, and AI cannot create new ideas. It can just kind of copy what we've been doing. So I don't think it'll ever be truly innovative art that it comes out with, but it'll be okay. I can foresee AI movies, AI art, AI TV shows, but it'll all be slop at the end of the day. And think about like a TV show like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I don't think AI would ever be able to come up with the complexities of the human mind and the human feeling and spirit and completely drive it down, because it's just going to kind of copy what we've already done and create work that's derivative and nothing really truly original. But I think it'll be a good tool to get us there. I think help using it as a help bot is very helpful, and I think it'll help creative people free up their mind of some of the stuff in their life that is not necessary, so that they can use that time and effort to be more creative in their own time. Or if they have a mental block, I think an AI assistant can help them work through that faster than a human would, or through drugs or whatever artists do. Yeah, I understand this. I understand. That's what I was trying to say. I just mean, like, it just doesn't feel like it from a normal perspective. Like, the space race mattered because of the journey, but not the outcome. Right? Like, yes, we went to the moon. Did that help people down on Earth? No. But how we got there was big, right? So, and I'm not saying we shouldn't have gone to the moon, and I think space travel is an important part that we should keep researching. But it's just, for everyday person, did that help most people? Not really. Look at AMD AI helped them made FSR actually good in games and upscaling now. Yeah, once AMD is like, oh wait, crap, this is actually pretty good. FSR actually got good. Okay, I need to go to the grocery store with my wife, and I am over time. So, thank you everyone for coming. This has been a really fun conversation as usual. Thank you to everyone who came. I will try to get a video out this week on the Switch too. I appreciate anyone who's here, is hanging out. Oh no, we didn't go to the moon? Oh, brother. If anyone's not in the Discord, I will drop a link and y'all can join it. It's very low key. It's only for people who are in the stream. I don't post this on videos, so feel free to join. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming. Hope you all have a great week. Play some games. Don't buy too much new hardware. Appreciate it. We're going to leave it off with Mike's great question. What I want to know is, what's on the dark side of the moon? Well, that's where the party is. Thank you, guys. Have a great night, okay? Number 3. Oh, Sam. Pathetic. Have a good week, guys.